Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different, and that is the relation between your anxiety and your eating disorder. So not everyone with an eating disorder necessarily suffers from anxiety, but a lot of people do, for example, me. I'm going to make a separate video about just anxiety by itself, but for now I just wanted to introduce to you how these two sort of cross and how they have something in common. So what I've come to realize throughout my recovery is that my eating disorder is a way to cope with my anxiety. A lot of the time an eating disorder is a way to cope with something that is causing you a problem or stress in your life already. So examples of how you might cope with anxiety through an eating disorder would be like you start counting calories, or you start skipping meals, or you compensate to control your weight. And the biggest thing is that you want to control things when you're anxious. When you're anxious, you're uncomfortable and you'll do anything to get away from this discomfort. And a lot of the time, most of the time, you won't just face your discomfort, right? Let's say you're anxious when you're around a lot of people and there's a lot of people around you. You're not just gonna stay there, you're gonna try to get away, right? So that's sort of what an eating disorder will do. You start to feel anxious and, you'll try to control something with, not facing the anxiety. It's really hard to explain, but I wrote down a couple of notes. So yeah, basically you don't want to face your anxiety because you feel so scared and stuff, so you control your anxiety with your eating disorder. And the causes of anxiety might be things that you've suffered with since you were little. Such as for me, I was really attached to my parents, so there's a word for that, but I don't remember what it was. My psychiatrist told me. That's the kind of anxiety that I had, and social anxiety and panic attacks, those are all forms of anxiety. So, I mean, this is a pretty broad video, and I'll make a more in-depth video about just anxiety itself. But I just wanted to let you know that if you have an eating disorder and you're trying to recover, but you find it really, really hard, try to figure out what was the cause of it and what is, preventing you from recovering. Because I know for me, I feel really anxious around food, and I feel really anxious around anything, so of course, it's gonna be hard to recover from my ED. For me, with my anxiety, I also have obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Lots of people make jokes about that and stuff, but it's really not funny because I actually have it, and it's a way for me to cope with my anxiety. So just imagine, with eating disorders you get these behaviors, right? Let's say you always eat something in a certain order with a certain fork at a certain time. Well, imagine that anxiety times a million, because when you have OCD, it's like that with everything. I don't know, I always have to sleep on one side of the bed, or else someone will die. It sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but if you suffer from OCD, you understand what I mean. And so my trick, well, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to sort of change up what I'm doing, not even regarding food, because food is definitely the hardest thing to change for me because of my anorexia. But my challenge later is going to be sitting at a different place at the table, and I might feel anxious. I probably won't feel as anxious as if I had a big steak in front of me, but I'll feel anxious, and I'm going to try to sit through my discomfort, to face my fear, and to face my anxiety, because I promise that after you do it a couple times it'll get easier. For example, this one's regarding food. A couple of weeks ago, okay, I've always had fruits at night, and my mom prepares them for me, and a few weeks ago I asked for fruits 2 times. So I asked I went for seconds. I was so anxious about that, and I felt so guilty. I mean, it's just fruits, but it changed, and it wasn't in my ritual, and it was more calories than usual, and I was really, really anxious. And I remember telling my psychologist how bad I felt and how guilty I was and how anxious I was, and then she told me that in a couple of weeks you'll see, you might be asking for double fruits like every night. And you know what? She was right. Now I always ask for fruits 2 times at night, and it's weird if I don't, so I always do even if I'm not hungry, you know. So it just becomes like second nature. You'll adapt and you'll be flexible. So basically, that's my sort of, I think I went off topic a bit, but that's how my eating disorder sort of relates to my anxiety. It's a way to cope. So if any of you guys have anxiety or OCD or anorexia or eating disorders or whatever, you know, talk about it to me. Leave some comments down below or on Tumblr. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.